What is the value for intrapulmonary pressure? 760 millimeters of mercury. What is the value for atmospheric pressure? 760 millimeters of what? Mercury. So trans-respiratory pressure is what?
0.
So the value for trans-respiratory pressure is 0 millimeters of what? Mercury. We are saying that this pressure is the pressure that exists between the lungs. So the pressure in the lungs and the pressure in the where? Atmosphere. So this pressure is the pressure that goes from the lungs to the atmosphere. Right? So we call this the trans-respiratory pressure. Let's use the values of these pressures in the respiratory tract. In the respiratory tract, the intrapulmonary pressure is what? Is given as 0 what? Millimeters of what? Mercury. And the atmospheric pressure is what? 0 millimeters of what? Mercury. So 0 millimeters of mercury minus 0 millimeters of mercury will give you 0 millimeters of mercury. So the trans-respiratory pressure is 0 millimeters of mercury. Is it a positive or a negative pressure? Positive pressure. Good. Lastly, we have the transthoracic pressure. The transthoracic pressure. This pressure. Transthoracic pressure refers to the pressure difference of intrapleural pressure and atmospheric pressure. Transthoracic pressure refers to the pressure difference of intrapleural pressure and atmospheric pressure. What is the value of intrapleural pressure? 756 millimeters of what? Mercury. What is the value of atmospheric pressure? 760 millimeters of mercury. So 756 millimeters of mercury minus 760 millimeters of mercury will give you what? Minus 4 millimeters of mercury. So the transthoracic pressure is minus 4 millimeters of what? Mercury. This pressure is a negative pressure. Even if you want to use the values of these pressures in the respiratory tract, we have intrapleural pressure as minus 4 millimeters of mercury, and the atmospheric pressure as what? 0 millimeters of mercury. So minus 4 millimeters of mercury minus 0 millimeters of mercury is still going to give you minus 4 millimeters of what? Mercury. What this means is that the transthoracic pressure is the pressure acting or existing from the pleural cavity. This is the pleural cavity. To the what? Atmosphere. So this gives you the transthoracic pressure. Now, all of these pressure values can increase and decrease during respiratory cycle. What I mean by respiratory cycle is during inspiration and what? Expiration. In some cases, the negative values or negative pressures becomes more negative. Or it becomes positive. So this transthoracic pressure is capable of becoming, its original value is minus 4 milliliters of mercury. It could change to minus 5 millimeters of mercury, becoming what? More negative, right? It can also change to minus 3 and even minus 2 millimeters of mercury, becoming what? Less negative during the process of inspiration and expiration. So, but let's get to it. Do we still have time?
No.
Do you have another class?
Yes.
By what time?
Now.
Hey. Okay, no problem. If you have another class, it means that we will have to stop here for now. In our next class, listen. In our next class, we will now look at the pressure changes and volume changes and the changes in the thoracic cavity during inspiration and expiration. I think that will help you understand the mechanism of respiration better when we discuss that. Any question from the floor? Questions? No questions. Attendance, please.